welcome to the Raw Review. We are the Dadley Boyz of What Culture. I'm Adam Wilborn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Monday Night Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As I said, they're joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review last night's Raw and all the fallout from Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, solid. A couple of highs, a couple of characters that we've talked about on several WWE podcasts of late that are just peaking at just the right time. It's WrestleMania season, and it's great to see wrestlers that I'm looking forward to talking about. And it's nice, I suppose, that the Triple H era of these matches that you kind of knew were coming and a load of stuff that has been signposted from Survivor Series and Royal Rumble is now just a poster, is now a match graphic or whatever. And I don't know, WWE has always felt good in WrestleMania season, even when the product was dire. It would just have this, the sign would have this effect where suddenly wrestlers would have no choice but to be engaged. Not with everybody, but enough of the top stars or the top programs would feel hotter because it was WrestleMania season. The fact that so many of these have been built to, I think, is helping elevate what was otherwise just an okay episode of television, but better because of the time of year.
You didn't really get a chance to get your thoughts on the Chamber.
Yeah, I was just surprised that my colleague was so downbeat on last night's Raw because he usually stands up for WWE, and as I see it, Mr. Hamflett has also been standing up for the Australian Board of Tourism.
Oh, you're on the side of the trolls. Good to know. That's good. Good to know. Good to know I've got the backing of my colleagues against Twitter dog piles. That's nice. My What Culture colleague, Michael Sidgwick. Was that when they got you?
So, Elimination Chamber. Let's go through the stats.
Go through the notes.
The ring time. My broad take on Elimination Chamber, and for me, you kind of have to discuss the content of the show hand in hand with the way in which the show was sequenced and unfolded. My God, if I was watching that live, I got bored of pressing fast forward when I had to. I literally got bored of pressing fast forward.
Live removes all that. It's just all good. You don't need to press fast forward if it's live. You can go make your lunch or you can go have a shower or whatever, and then you come back and you haven't missed a match. There's no need to skip anything.
So, shut up.
All that extra effort.
I've got a few scattered thoughts on the show and the discourse surrounding it and all the rest of it. So just give us about 3 or 4 minutes. I didn't
catch the discourse. I missed that.
Right. So, if I'm watching, that 4 hours is a long time, right? I just want to feel engaged throughout. And, I don't even get this with AEW. I've said, even during the absolute peak AEW pay-per-views, there is always one match where I'm like, oh, I forgot you existed. Oh, I forgot you existed. And I just kind of want to get to the point because it's enough already and I want to get to sleep, to quote a line from Seinfeld. There's no perfect way to do it. Some would say there never was. New Japan, peak New Japan, where every match was that little bit longer than the next and you it was sequenced in gradually getting more important and the stakes were higher. That's the best approach, and I wish AEW would steal it. I don't like when they jam these 25-minute matches in between and then you get a cool down. It's often the women in AEW, let's face it. I'm not saying there's a perfect way to do it. I'm not showing my preferences, but my God, I was bored of pressing fast forward to get through all of that naked capitalism, which is what it was. I don't think it makes for a good experience, personally. It was fine for me. I had to press fast forward. Ugh, what an inconvenience. But it's too much. It's too bloody much. I will say, in the same breath, that, and I'll get to my thoughts on the content of the show. I will say that I didn't spot on my Twitter timeline, which I barely really touched this weekend at all. I was quite proud of myself. I don't think I spotted, and this is the main thing realistically, one person who I know to either tolerate, like, or love WWE in good faith go, you're taking the piss here, I'm really bored, and this is really affecting my enjoyment of the show. It was all gotchas.
Yeah.
It was all gotchas from accounts accounts that favor.
I should have known better. This is that
favor AEW.
Don't engage with them.
It's a total gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, did anyone who tweeted that or X'd it or started a thread on it on Reddit, right? Did anyone go, I just wanted more wrestling from this WWE show that I watched?
Yeah.
Like, not a one.
Yeah.
My personal experience was I'm so glad I caught up on tape delay because they've taken the piss in this TKO era, particularly, but it was happening before then. They've taken the piss with these shows, and I genuinely, for my personal preference, I'm like, I don't need to see this video package. Why am I seeing a video package of a wrestler who isn't even on the show? Like, seriously, what is going on here? If it was sponsorships out the arse, right, I could almost understand them just taking this money. Right, I'll do an advert for your product, money out the ass. I could understand that from like a really just total capitalism deal. But they're advertising their own stuff just relentlessly. Just do a shorter show. I just don't get it. I
think that's the Peacock ads, isn't it?
Ever since the Peacock change, that's like, again, it's like, I think a lot of people have still got that brain of like, I paid $50 for it. Well, you didn't. Like, it's sort of bundled in with the subscription that you either have or you don't.
Yeah.
And it's effectively like Stadium Raw, or like, especially a show where there's only 4 matches because of the gimmicks or whatever. Like, and again, this is a conversation we can have that can't be condensed into tweets, but I think there's a lot of that old mindset of, right, so you pay, again, an AEW pay $50 and there's all these matches, so it's like, yeah, I actually get that. You would want to feel like if all you, like that AEW post with all the wrestlers on, you want to see all of them wrestlers and you want to see them all in matches because that's ultimately what this is all about. I do still understand that. Like, it was, again, the comparison was like a false equivalency at this point.
Yeah,
the way the products are different.
Yeah, I get it. And as I said, like,
I got grief for liking entrances, Sige.
Phil got grief for liking the sunset on Twitter.
I said it looked nice, and it was like, you WWE shill.
I mean, you are, but I get it.
But not Phil. Phil's not, yeah.
Let's leave Phil out of this.
I mean, the entrance themes are terrible.
I said the themes are like pretty poor universally at the moment, with a few exceptions, but people like it was the big one was the 55-minute gap with the Grayson Waller effect in the middle that was like really hot. Like Cody and Seth getting those reactions. If you're one of them Australian punters who get one show every 6 years and want to just sing Seth's song for ages and ages and ages, the crowd, and hang on Cody's every word, it's like, it's a great time, isn't it? Like,
the crowd were hot throughout, and I didn't notice anyone. And again, it's all bubble stuff, but it's a sample nonetheless. I didn't notice anyone who genuinely gravitates towards WWE because they like it, earnestly say, oh, I've had enough of this. It's way, way too much. I just didn't see it. And maybe it was there and it's not on my individually created timeline or whatever, but I didn't see it. So ultimately, who cares? The people only who I saw complaining about it only pretended to care, and I understand why that was frustrating. And I've fallen into the trap of giving people who don't deserve it oxygen on occasion. So away from the discourse, everyone just let the Australian Board of Tourism play out. Away from the discourse.
Did look lovely, didn't it? In those videos.
I didn't think the show was very good at all, personally. I think it was unacceptably passable for a huge canonical stadium show. It just wasn't that good. It wasn't bad, but I just thought, Jesus Christ, money for now, this, isn't it? It just didn't really do a great deal for me, and I just think there should be a standard for a show in a stadium for me. See, you're looking funny.
Was
there anything seminal on it?
I thought the booking in the men's chamber was fantastic. The work was good in the women's.
Tiffany Stratton, we talked a lot about.
A couple of wrestlers had great individual nights. Main event, didn't over-deliver. The only people that were saying it over-delivered were the people that haven't been watching Nia Jax, for me. Again, to your point, I think a lot of people special guest on these shows, and they were like, hey guys, Nia Jax's actually pretty good now. It's like, yeah, I know, because I've been watching for the last few months and have seen the growth and development of a character and a story play out.
I don't think she was good at all.
It's not a magic wand.
I did not think she was good at all.
Jumped off a frigging moving office chair onto Rhea Ripley through a table.
I don't care. She was rubbish.
Awesome. I did like the tag match threatened to drag, but that was about it. Like, and even then it didn't really. Like, they were doing the thing where they were like, it was Tyler Bate doubling up on Pete Dunne's moves to be able to say, look, with me as your partner, you're going to be better than ever. So the story there was like all of Pete Dunne's old singles moves made better. It was the closest thing to dragging in terms of the actual matches, I thought, on the whole show. And even then, I sort of couldn't complain because like it was loud. And I thought, fair play. Like, they've stayed up for this 20-minute tag. Like, they're still into it. You know?
Disagree. I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah.
Solid and good and passable for the most part.
We haven't talked about this, have we, in the office?
No, we've not talked about it. I've been
Isolating.
sequestered. I've been sequestered.
I thought the men's chamber surprised me. Like, as
I thought it was pretty dull, the whole thing, to be honest.
really predictable. And
Talked about it yet. So what are you responding to here? I haven't even given you my thoughts on it.
he said it was, what did he say it was? It was like barely passable or something. I was like, whoa, hold on. It was actively passable, in fact. And you know that if something's passable, I love it.
Yeah, I know. So Naomi got geeked, and I know you've made this, so you don't have to intervene again. Naomi got geeked. Tiffany Stratton's spot was good. Well done on Raquel Rodriguez, though. That was really good last second. Just make sure I get all of you.
Yeah.
The men's for me was better, the men's chamber match, but was still structurally, it was like watching the Rumble again in a weird way. Like,
look it. No, I thought it was better than the Rumble. Like this, both chambers said this yesterday. Both chambers better than the Rumble and better than War Games. Same pay-per-views effectively.
It wasn't just,
It
wasn't just that you get two of the exact same, not the exact same, but very similar matches. I thought the two chamber matches and the way that they were structured were very similar to the Rumble matches, which I'd already seen 2 hours of, like last month. Of you come in, you get your shine, you do your stuff, you go wild. Banana skin happened like quite a lot throughout the two matches. Some really nice, cute details in it, I guess. Got the right winner. The tag was a gentleman's 3 on Raw, playing out in front of a stadium, which elevates it. A lot of it was centered around Dominic. Your mileage will vary on that. I think my feelings on Dominic Mysterio have been well established at this point. I tell you what, though, you can tell, I watched that and you can see, right, even though they've been locked in this absolutely ridiculous system for years and years and years, you can tell that Bate and Dunn cut their teeth earlier than most and just had to learn how to get over in front of a new building with people who might not even be interested in wrestling, because if Mike Loner's got hits, they played their hits in that match, and it was quite fun and lighthearted, and a lot of crowd interactive bits propelled it to something I could actually watch without looking at my phone. I thought Nia Jax individually in that match was not good, and there was that bit as well, like, I haven't seen Rhea Ripley do that move before, and it's like, with good reason, it looked like AIDS. That weird head scissory thing.
Head scissors,
yeah, looked absolutely dire. I just thought that main event, the individual performances weren't particularly great. Rhea Ripley's better than Nia Jax, but there's only so much you can do with Nia Jax, and ultimately, a lot of the Australian fans enjoyed the house show in that main event. That was a house show main event, inexplicably playing out in a stadium. I didn't have that good a time with the show. And you know what? It's all about us, though, is it? WWE's for the children. I was putting Charlotte to sleep on Friday, and I was just scrolling through Twitter. I was like, RRI show. I've already done the story. I've already done the full day of events, the full program. It's 8:20. I love you, but go to sleep. But when I saw those eyes start to close, I was going, Twitter. And she went, who's that? She looks fancy. And it was Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
I know this sounds like didn't happen at the Air Awards, and I know the worst thing ever, right, is inventing a child to act as a sample, or inventing a casual fan to act as a sample for how your favorite wrestling promotion or your least favorite wrestling promotion is perceived through their eyes.
You ever have wrestling crap when you get your hair cut? All the time.
Yeah. That exact kind of thing. Like the barber thinks, my barber. Yeah. So I was like, right, this is a way in. Obviously, I'd like to watch wrestling with the youngins. Yeah. Like, they just haven't really expressed much of an interest in the you either get it or you don't medium. So I'm probably wasting my time. I was like, she's got the biggest match of her career, the biggest fight of her career. I was trying to sell it. The biggest fight of her career tomorrow in front of 50,000 papered fans. Do you want to watch it? Do you want to watch it with me when we're back from Crazy Golf? Yeah. After the Crazy Golf, before tea, we're going to watch that. She's like, can we? I was like, yeah. And she lost interest the next day, so it was a real battle to say. And she kept saying, I don't want to. I was like, well, I don't like your YouTube channels, so we are gonna have 15 minutes of this. I'm genuinely not doing a bit here, even though it ties very conveniently into what I've been saying between, right, fast forward to everything, the video package. I was losing it before the entrances. So, my kids were sort of in the room for a lot of Elimination Chamber, but barely paying attention to anything. They would like look up, and if they're like just pure happenstance, something that looked flashy enough or interesting enough, they'd stare for a minute. Got the odd questionnaire there. They quite like Tiffany Stratton doing the handspring elbows. They just looked up and like because she was just going and she was hitting really hard, and then they'd not even really noticed the cage itself. And I was like, oh, so somebody else is going to come out one of them pods. I was like, yes, it's the Elimination Chamber. Catch up, kids. And they just
explain the rules twice.
Yep, just
for each chamber.
Well, that's it. Yeah, just it's the thing, isn't it? You either get it or you don't, and I can just see them.
Increasingly, that's with WWE. You can either like wrestling, but WWE's get it or you don't.
Yeah, it's not just for kids now; it's adults.
Yeah, right there. I had to stay. I was harried. That's why I condense it all, strip it all down, reduce it. That was all right. Never watch it again. I'll never remember it. The actual experience of watching it was Logan Paul's got a marker. That's quite inspired.
It's good, isn't it? Good stuff.
It was very, there's no substance to any of it. The main event was one-dimensional. There was a bit house show fair in the tag. The almost identically structured Elimination Chamber matches were cute idea on top of cute idea on top of cute idea. Nothing really I could just get into.
Oh, I got...
I know you liked it.
Okay, yeah, I got more out of it on like my second watch than my first in some respects.
Last night's Raw. Start with a big recap of Elimination Chamber, and then in the ring is Dominic Mysterio, booed relentlessly. Of course, he introduces Mammy, who he calls the greatest women's champion of all time, and Ripley introduces us to Monday Night Mammy. She said she walked in and out of her home country as the champion. Nia Jax was her biggest threat. And despite from being down under, Mammy's always on top. Out comes Becky Lynch. Congratulates Ripley.
She had twice, didn't she? It's Mammy's on top.
Yeah.
Got to get your catchphrase in.
There's a lot of that here.
She said, it was nice to have your family there as well to watch you win. And now at least they don't have to fly halfway across the world to watch you lose at WrestleMania. And Dominic tries to cut her off and say, nobody talks to Mammy that way. And Becky says, shut your mouth, you little kumquat.
Michael Cole thought this was an absolute stitch.
Michael Hamflett didn't. It's really awkward.
Got cum in it. So.
What? I'd like to what?
Cum twat.
Cum twat.
You little cum twat.
That would have been a stitch.
You little cum twat.
What did she just say? He loves that, doesn't he? He loves like asking obvious questions.
Not knowing what the hell he's talking about. He's a big fan.
And going, what the hell just happened?
Anyway, Becky says if Mammy won't put you in your place, the man would. She says, Rhea, you've spent the year on top as the face of the company. You've been fed grapes by Dom. During that time, I was the backbone, the heart, the soul of this company. I became a Grand Slam champion, all while writing a best-selling book. I can do it all, including beat Rhea Bloody Ripley. Ripley says,
got worse Australian accent than me, by the way.
Ripley tells her not to disrespect her Latino heat again. It's about time Becky Lynch won something to get her close enough to her level. The man always thinks they're the backbone of everything, but behind every great man is a greater woman. Mammy's always on top. Ripley leaves the ring, and then Nia Jax attacks Becky Lynch from behind. Consecutive leg drop. She's going to hit her with the Annihilator, but officials run out to stop her.
So I like what happened with Nia Jax and Becky Lynch, and then as a result, what happened with Liv Morgan. And I did like the booking from Rumble to Chamber for this character. Otherwise, in Liv Morgan, I don't really care about. But again, it's using other stories to fold other characters in and then tell new ones off the back of it. So I did genuinely like that. I didn't like this segment. Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch is everything, I said this yesterday, is everything WWE are telling you it is. The current biggest star versus realistically the biggest star they've ever had. And it's at WrestleMania for the belt. That's perfect WWE fodder, right? Problem is, or because we've had the build off the back of one or two little confrontations here and there over the last 18 months while Rhea's been on the rise and Becky's been waiting for a shot again, we've done that. and Sidge has highlighted this a million times, that establishing the premise 6 weeks out thing and then having no other story attached to it, it's never really acceptable, but there are some feuds that need a bit more of a connection more than others. Need that Triple H thing I love, where he says, there's a little thing that I never realised they had in common. Like, let's say these are trained in the same gym once, and it was like, now we're going to talk about that. And I didn't know this was a thing that sort of brought them together. These two really need one of them. And this was just overwritten catchphrase stuff I wanted from now. I've already had, 18 months of thinking, God, I cannot wait for Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. That is big time stuff. And this was telling me that for the first time. And it's like, no, I've had all my own time to get ready for this. Bring these characters together.
Do you think they're holding back on that because they knew the Nia Jax thing was coming, and it's like, well, that's all people are going to be talking about off the...
I don't... we can only review, if we talk about this as well, we can only review what we've just watched and not what we haven't seen yet. And obviously they're teeing Nia Jax up as this last obstacle that Becky Lynch has to get over before she can have a clear head going into WrestleMania, which, again, not bad booking. They've set that up themselves with Nia being this one that Becky could never beat. I don't know. Now is the time. Like, WrestleMania is only 4 or 5 weeks away. Even if you're doing Nia as a TV program,
to start thinking about packing.
Like, even if you're doing Nia and Becky as a TV program, you should be just as focused on making it matter a bit more between these two. Underwhelming. I've done this myself. Like, all the headcanon of the last 18 months was what was basically said out loud here, and I thought it was a bit of a waste of time.
What this was, realistically, I'm a bit old school in my appraisal here, which is total content churn. What this was, what you watched play out, was we need some sound bites for the video package. So let's write a promo exchange around those sound bites. You've got a nickname. What if I did a bit of wordplay on that nickname? Yeah. So basically, you're going to get this big, inevitably great video package that you'll probably watch 5 times throughout whichever night of WrestleMania it's on, right? And it will be a good video package. You'll be sick to the back teeth of it. But it will be great on the first viewing, and there'll be this, they'll splice footage of Nia Jax, and when they're talking about Becky Lynch being the man, you'll see her dogging it in NXT, and then you'll see an overlap of, sort of Rhea Ripley doing it on the big stage and blah, 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 blah. And then I'd say, well, Mommy's always on top. And then, poof, some footage of her beating Nia Jax with the belt up and all that. This was they might as well have filmed this in a recording booth.
Yeah. You can hear the lines as they're being delivered. Even the cadence is, because of the video package that they feed. Even that.
I'm just saying Mommy's always on top, so we get it clean.
It's when CM Punk said, I'm really good at this. It's pretty easy to get over in WWE. If only they would let me, sort of thing. I know when to say the sound bites. I know what's going in the video package. I know when to deliver it for maximum dramatic effect. It's just how they do things. They might as well have... Just didn't feel real to me. They might as well have recorded this in a recording booth.
Jackie caught up with Nia Jax in the back afterwards. Jax said there's no way Lynch should be going to WrestleMania after she beat her clean, and said that Liv's going to get 10 times worse than what you've just seen Becky get. And then we got Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Zayn hits a moonsault off the barricade before an early break. We come back. Nakamura's in control. Zayn comes back. Michinoku driver for 2. Nakamura drops him onto the apron. Another break. We come back. Zayn fires back with that blue thunder bomb of his for a near fall. Goes for Helluva Kick, but Nakamura blocks it with a knee strike and hits a Kinshasa off the middle rope for a nice 2 count. Another knee strike to the back of Zayn's head whilst they're outside the ring. Zayn barely makes it in before the 10 count, and Nakamura hits him with another big knee, but Zayn can just flop his foot onto the bottom rope to break up the pin. Nakamura goes for it all again. This time Zayn, though, sidesteps it. Helluva Kick to the back of Shinsuke's head. One more Helluva Kick. 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn gets the W.
Fantastic production of that second Helluva Kick, with the best use of that corner camera, which they've used in tag matches. And it feels a bit weird because I sort of think, I don't want to see a wrestler call a spot. It actually takes me out of the match for a second because I'm thinking, am I going to hear one of them say something here when there's not an action shot that they're using it for? So the close-up was perfect. You felt that connection. This was okay. I've got only slightly more patience than Sidge for this Nakamura thing where they just have...
I've got none.
Well, yeah, and I've only got slightly more. That's it. He's this... I was saying yesterday, Sidge, he's a gatekeeper, but they make up the size of the gate he keeps. So sometimes it's one that you can just like hop over, and then the other times they pretend that all of a sudden it's 20
like the
foot
gates
barrier.
of hell.
Yeah, like it's Nakamura. I hopped over him last week. So they kind of they can't game the system with Nakamura ultimately. But this was just one of the better. Like the Booker of the Year can't really figure out the Nakamura conundrum, but ultimately this was one of the better matches of this. I thought this was probably better than the Cody matches, if I'm honest.
Of course it was. This is not bad at all.
Yeah.
Like the thing about Sami Zayn is like, I don't necessarily think he's a better wrestler than Cody, but my God, he's just got this ability, and it's magic, and he's got no right to have this ability. Of the last 2 minutes in particular, his body language, the urgency, the way he stressed the importance, the way he sort of felt like I need to believe in myself to beat 2024 Shinsuke Nakamura. It's like, how is it not an insult to my intelligence?
Yeah.
Sami Zayn is like absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. He almost, for the last 2 minutes of this match, projected an aura onto Shinsuke Nakamura that we know evaporated in 2017. We know it did. But he's just so goddamn great at his craft that he made it feel like he was vanquishing a threat.
Yeah.
We got a video recapping New Day.
Shinsuke Nakamura was also there.
We got a video recapping the New Day Imperium feud. We see Xavier and Kofi arriving. I think Kofi was wearing a Maximum Male Models t-shirt, which I liked.
Nice that.
I like it when they get secure enough to just be nice.
Yeah. Help your mates out.
Yeah.
They announced DDP, Pat McAfee, Nia Jax, and CM Punk going on the 2K24 season pass thing, and McAfee notes about doing his moves and what have you on there. And then it was time for Chelsea Green. She comes out and informs us beforehand she's competing in protest. She would have won the Battle Royal last week and gone on to become the most illustrious winner in history. Had P-Head Pierce not added Raquel Rodriguez, and she won and then flew all that way to Perth to lose, just like the Sharks. Local sports team reference. Rodriguez destroyed her in like 80 seconds, basically. Clothesline, fall away slams, Tejana bomb, 1, 2, 3.
It's like really nice, isn't it, that Raquel Rodriguez is okay at the moment after that awful skin flare-up thing.
Yeah.
The match was like, it's just nice that this is happening and she's getting this spotlight and like bravely working through it because those videos are heartbreaking, but the match was this squash of the comedy character.
Yeah. I mean, it was there. I did see it, I think. I did see it. I did see it. Yeah.
Sami Zayn gets interviewed backstage. He said he needed tonight's win. A loss would have been devastating to him and his road to WrestleMania. Tonight's win reaffirmed his belief that he was a contender. A path is going to come in his way, or he's just going to find it. You get Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci walking past, and then you get the face-off between Zayn and Gunther. Gunther just laughs in his face and walks off.
They're doing a multi-man.
That was my concern.
Vibe I was getting from this show.
I don't need that.
Like
They're getting a multi-man, and Gunther is not losing this title in a multi-man.
I think this is the way to protect him. I think they're going to take the title off him in a multi-man, and then they can say...
That's the worst. I
agree. I want someone to vanquish him, but I think that's what they're going to do. It'd be like, he's lost the title, so he's still got the big number record.
Imagine a baby face. I would resent Chad Gable somehow if that happened.
Pins Damien Priest or something. It's terrible. This is...
I was thinking more ladder match rather than multi-man. But,
this is potentially very bad broken, this. I was wanting to believe that it was a mini tournament, but my gut was saying multi-man at WrestleMania. By the end of this Raw.
Yeah. Everyone laid out their not justifications. Chad Gable did, but everyone else was like, I wouldn't mind it going that.
Mini tournament, great. Otherwise, like enormous fumble. Huge fumble.
In there.
Let it play out. Hasn't happened yet.
No, yeah. Sorry, I am too cynical with this product, and I shouldn't be. But yeah. Thanks, Sidge. You keep me right.
No, it's a multi-man.
It's a huge fumble at Gunther, Jesus Christ.
They're doing it so they can say he's not lost. They're saying it so he's not been pinned.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Are you going to stake your journalistic reputation on that? Because you do have a great record.
I do.
So is this one of the ones that you are... What's going on? The most reputable voice in professional wrestling journalism.
I need to check with my sources about this one first before I want to really stick my neck on the line.
How long will it take them to get back to you, do you think? Generally, how long does it take?
About 8 days, normally.
So a complete dickhead. A complete and utter fraud.
But when they come back, it's always spot on.
Yeah, around 41 days, I can probably give you an answer.
So hang on, the first answer was obviously just under...
Oh, just under
9 days.
Yeah.
Correct.
Kathy Kelly interviews Cody Rhodes in the back. She asks if challenging The Rock is a smart strategy this close to Mania. And Rhodes says, it's not about strategy, it's simple. The Rock slapped me across my face, so I challenged him to a match, and I'm looking forward to his rebuttal on SmackDown. Kelly asks about Grayson Waller, who he's fighting in the main event. And Rhodes says, I like Waller. You should like me. On my first appearance on his show, I brought back Jey Uso, and then I gave him the exclusive announcement about my challenge to The Rock.
Not a bad thread.
And he's going to find out in the main event tonight, basically.
Aye, nice little moment. Cody was great on this show. This promo was good.
It's his gender reveal thing as well.
Yeah,
that was
I feel
lovely.
like there's a thing every week now that he does with the live crowd that, again, is just more like fuel on the babyface fire for when he wins a belt.
It's like he's on the Lex Express if it actually ran.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's if it actually worked. That's why Cody's on the express way to superstardom.
And yet, more people felt certain Lex was actually going to win the belt.
Yeah, I
instead
know.
of Cody right now, when
Yeah.
there's all this anxiety. The stuff with The Rock is particularly great because this was the first time we saw that video where he's in his gear in that little coming this week on SmackDown. What, The Rock in his trunks? I think I'll be coming on SmackDown with The Rock's in his trunks already. But this Rock,
probably me too.
This Rock Cody match when we know it's going to be the tag, or we think it's going to be the tag.
I told you what my theory is on the news. He'll say, I'll have a match for you on SmackDown in like 3 weeks.
He's working the next 3 SmackDowns The Rock
because he's working.
Effectively a full timer.
And then they go, not really. We're going to come kick the crap out of you, and then you can have Seth make the save, and then tag match.
Bait and switch with the Rock's pretty
Risky, innit?
Is it?
I don't know. Cody's seen the singles match quite a bit.
They eat all the slop, so
They're going to get the singles.
They like the slop.
They're going to get the singles match. Presumably.
hollow out some bread, put some cheese slices, get some fed slop in the middle, and you're eating.
First condiment I ever would enjoy.
That count as a
Fed
meal or
slop.
no?
You've been enjoying it for 36 years.
God, I miss the Tesco deli counter, you know. That's what I want for my lunch today, and I can't get it.
To break that news to him, that was heartbreaking.
Is it not there anymore?
It's gone.
I remember I took that photo and just said, bad news, mate.
Yep, it's gone.
I had like a countdown.
No oven fresh available in big Tesco's.
That was mind-blowing when you told me that. I could just go
You
up
make
and
like
say,
Shawn Michaels to start cooking. That's what you could do. I made a dumpling soup last night.
Nice.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. You know how like all frozen food, unless it's obviously fresh stuff you've put into the freezer for a later date, all like frozen products are a really convenient substitute for something that's actually good. Like a frozen burger, no. Frozen pizza, I will...
Everything comes back to WWE and AEW with me. And I'm just thinking like, yes, tick, more
Yorkshire
tick.
puds? Bessie's?
No.
Even I draw the line there.
You got to make your own.
Yeah.
You got to make your own.
I can't make good ones, but I would still give it a bash rather than those frozen little discs, those pathetic little crispy discs.
There's probably... I will eat a frozen pizza on occasion.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason being is that I don't have an oven hot enough to do like an actual homemade pizza justice. So if I've got the urge, it's kind of like, you might as well. What I'm broadly getting at, and I know this is not about WWE, I don't care, but maybe it is.
Maybe it is,
in a philosophical way, is that
It's about cooking, so...
there's not one food that is made frozen that you get from the frozen freezer in a supermarket that's anywhere close to the original that it's emulating.
Bird's eye potato waffles?
Until now. No, they are born frozen. It's like a croquette in a waffle or like a
Finder's crispy
completely-
pancake?
Shut the something like a croquette or a waffle is like something, even a hash brown.
Yeah.
That's a different tier. That's like stuff that you would just get frozen to begin with, of factory-made stuff, right?
Turkey dinosaur. You could make a better turkey dinosaur at home.
Until now.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Because we're not even getting paid by this company. I have no knowledge of this company.
yeah.
This company might have been involved in certain standards. I took this picture to send to Murray because he's got good taste. I'm like, right, where is it? Where am I? Where are my notes? Where are my notes?
Talk us through the
Right.
picture roll. Oh.
Look at that.
Right. Ajinomoto, vegetable and chicken gyoza in the bag.
Sorry, what is it?
It's a dumpling.
Right, sorry.
A gyoza.
Yeah, I'd never heard that.
Dumpling,
I
yeah,
had dumplings, yeah.
Eventually it gyoza in your mouth, but it starts off there.
Eventually what?
It gyoza in your mouth. But
It's still gyoza.
Oh my God. It's frozen. A frozen gyoza product.
Aldi?
No, got it from a Costco.
All right.
Which is regrettable because it's like you have to. It's like
you can't nip down to a Costco, can you? You got to make a trip of it.
Yeah. You got to make a trip of it. You can't go to Costco after work, sort of thing. So that was really frustrating. I'm telling you, the next time they go to Costco, I'm saying, all right, we've got to clear some freezer space. I need 2 of these. You're not meant to. Have you ever smelled the frozen pizza?
When it's frozen, no.
Exactly. This frozen gyoza. I open this bag. I'm like, oh my God. So I got a feeling this is going to be incredible. Like. I've had dumplings all across the world, from England to Scotland. There's a really good Chinese place called Chop Chop in Edinburgh. I mourn it daily. I mourn it daily. Basically, I've had my fair share of like freshly made good. I've never had a frozen product emulate the real thing in quite such a way as this dumpling. Oh. I couldn't believe the smell, the scent coming from the bag, and then I've just fried it off for 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my, this is unbelievable. Magic.
I'm into it. And it's like a food rec that you've given me that I might actually be able to make because it's frozen. Yeah. I couldn't follow like the most basic of instructions.
That's the thing. That's the thing, right? It's a similar thing with like pizza where I simply don't have the tools, a hot enough oven to do it justice. I could, if I wanted to, make dumplings, but my God, what a faff it seems like. Yeah. You have to be quite.
Do you make your own pasta?
Nah. Another faff. It's
not worth it, is it?
Another faff.
Don't buy a dog and bark yourself.
I'm not very good with like faffy things. Like, I could make an elaborate cake, like the decorations, or like like a dumpling, which we're talking about,
for example,
is, more fitting. Because I'm a bit clumsy. It's a faff. Yeah. I'm not delicate enough. So it's a recommendation.
Who makes it again? Sorry, I realised.
I'm probably going to butcher the enunciation here, but it's Ajinomoto, #1 in Japan, and it's #1 in my heart.
Yep.
Imperium come out next.
Yep.
Gunther says Jey Uso almost had him beat last week. He felt the IC title slipping away from him for the first time. Yes, he got lucky. Nobody's perfect, but he is very, very close in his own words. He's been working hard for more than 600 days to make the Intercontinental title the most prestigious in WWE, and he wondered who his opponent would be at Mania. He saw what people had been saying, mentioned Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, The Miz, R-Truth. But here comes, it was no Rhea Ripley, she wasn't there. It was Damian Priest, it was Finn Balor, it was Dominic Mysterio, and it was JD McDonough, of course, collectively.
They're in the fucking Judgment Day.
Yeah.
On the other day.
When did that happen?
Last month, but I was too fat for it. Not anymore.
You lost some weight.
I've lost some goddamn weight. Enough to fit into my Judgment Day.
Because for a while it was Dr. Welfed, if you know what I'm saying. Now I can say the joke.
And this is why I've been campaigning for them not to kill this storyline for a month.
Let's see it.
Good.
Full deal. Full gimmick.
How much did it cost?
It was actually part of a discounted one because I was buying the new Punker shirt. So like I got like a 20% off.
Like to show it wet in support of who?
What? CM Punk?
All right, if he ever comes back.
He will. All right,
how much did it cost?
It was like 45 for the two of them.
That's not bad.
That's pretty decent.
That's not bad at all.
Just like show love and show support.
Indeed. I was going to say something then, but I forgot what it was.
And I sort of willed it into existence as well, so I felt obliged to buy it.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Early on, I was like, the need stick in R-Truth, Kevin Owens type tape on the bottom of this. So
I don't know, have you told the story on the podcast yet?
Which one?
Oh my God. Friday, we're all like, not skiving or anything like that, but we're winding down for the weekend. We've done a lot of tasks and we've done some really good work and all the rest of it. And it's on Friday. And I think I go for a piss, come back into the office, see Michael Hamflett at his desk, right, on his phone, go.
Oh, yeah.
So Hamflett.
Oh, I know what this is.
So Hamflett sat there, he's like. I would describe the laughter as almost uncontrollable.
There's some tears, yeah.
He's pretty, he might even be cry laughing here. And he's going, so I'm like, oh, get in. There's a popper. Has someone done a brutal cut down on Twitter? Is there something that's like really cutting? Is there something on Instagram that's like just nails an observation on a reel or whatever? And I go around to visit Hamlet at his desk.
I know what it is.
And I see R-Truth's face.
I knew it.
And he goes, hey, I'm in Austria. Where's everyone at? Because you see, it's that Australia, which is where Elimination Chamber emanated from.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound at all like Austria, but there's some of the letters are the same. Yeah, it sounds a bit like it. R-Truth got the wrong plane.
It's this delivery of where's everybody at? And then
Australia.
Put kangaroos on the video and upload it. I was like, that's 2 reasons it's funny.
He was
really like earnestly got me.
He was crying, laughing in the office. I was like, my God, is he ever going to come back from this?
R-Truth's got me right there for the first time probably in, 20 years he's been at it. Like, he got the biggest pop of all. Like, Gunther's listing off these potential people.
Yeah, he got a bigger pop than
Chad
Gable.
Gable would be quite good. Sami Zayn would be quite good. R-Truth in an IC title. We only want him for the tags. Like, people just couldn't believe
Can
that.
he do double duty? I mean, Rome's going to do it. So.
Yeah, that's the law of the WrestleMania with the 0 at the end, isn't it? Like, legends working twice. Brett, R-Truth. That was just funny. That was funny.
Well, there's another
I was going to
R-Truth.
say, Danny, bro. I know you do.
Don't worry, there's another R-Truth segment coming in a bit.
Just the one, though, because Miz was trapped in a cupboard.
That's even funnier to you, innit?
That was good.
You ever been stuck anywhere?
Yes.
In the studio on Tuesday mornings.
I have, but I'm not telling that story on the podcast, but I'll tell you after. It's very embarrassing.
Okay. Remind me as well, I've got to do the Wrestle Culture Australian Wrestlers quiz between the Dadleys. Always fun that.
Should we do like a quiz on a different podcast for the test of knowledge at some point? Just floating ideas. People might be into that. Let us know on X at WhatCultureWWE or if you're on YouTube in the comments below.
Damian Priest said they don't sweat Gunther. He's got an impressive run, but it's still second to the Judgment Days. They ran the table at Elimination Chamber. They plan on doing the same at Mania, but they want to add gold, and that included the IC title. And Gunther's like, all right, who's going to challenge me then? Finn Balor, the one with the big head. And Dominic Mysterio steps up, and Gunther's like, are you taking the piss? And Dom says, that title belongs to me or to us. And Gunther's like, get out of the way. And Damon Priest's like, touch him. He has to be held back. What do you make of all this? Dominic Mysterio going to challenge Gunther for the title?
Great if he is, because that'd be funny and he'd lose. But I just, again, it's my...
They had the interaction in the Rumble, didn't they? Those two, yeah.
Damian Priest, like, Gunther suggesting that he can cash in, remind you that Austin Theory did that on the US title. So it's like, oh yeah, that could be an option. I just didn't like the potential booking of the Intercontinental title on the show at all. I wanted to think, mini tournament or something. But then even then, in Gable and Zayn, you've created a situation where you kind of have to, you force fans into favouring one or the other. And WWE are going to lean more on Sami Zayn than Chad Gable, probably. I just thought this is an unfavourable set of circumstances from a situation that you'd made for yourself. It seemed like...
They just don't want him to lose the belt. It's becoming very, very clear.
Yeah, if the multi-man, though,
thing is, right, like, if the original plan, I've said this even before the events of Raw last night, if the original plan, which obviously isn't going to happen, was for Gunther versus Brock Lesnar, I don't think there's a hope in hell of anyone defeating Gunther for that title at WrestleMania. I just don't think they see any incentive in it just because, it's WrestleMania. They're already probably going to switch the biggest and the other big, massive, the more important long reign. I think they'll save this for a rainy day. I said, even when it looked like it could be Gable alone, I was like, well, he's not winning.
Yeah, Gunther losing the title was never the thing particularly I wanted. I just thought, what a fabulous opportunity for a singles match that would look like a Gunther versus a Chad Gable or a Gunther versus Sami Zayn to take place on a WWE show where there's only really special occasions you can do it. And I just feel like they're gonna blow that a little bit. Gunther even fitting into a multi-man, I don't even like the look of it in my head, really.
Why would you have your best in-ring guy, realistically? Your best pure in-ring guy. And I'm not saying he's not bad at sports entertainment because the big headline was really funny. it's criminal not to have him in a singles match at
it's bad booking.
WrestleMania.
The triple threat you could
I was
absolutely
going
get
to say
away with
they
because you
might lean on that and say, well,
you were
he
folding
beat-
together like epic singles matches to get away with it. It was awesome, but the whole point was he's had these bangers with Sheamus, like he's had a pretty good match with Drew, and they all hit really hard. It's effectively 2 singles matches that have just been squashed together. It's like an ECW old-fashioned like 3-way dance. You could have put an elimination in the middle of that, and it would have worked just as well. This here, like, it's starting to look like
Maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll do elimination.
maybe it's just starting to look more like a mid 2010s 5-way ladder match sort of thing than something that's serious.
Good.
Well, yeah, serious and good. This is why
You can do a 5-way ladder match any old time.
Yeah.
Ripley bumps into him after a break and goes, what the challenging Gunther? And Ripley storms off. Balor says, you probably best to go and smooth things out with her. Dom goes to do that and almost walks straight into Andrade. Dom's so bloody clueless. He's like, good seeing you, mate. Maybe I'll see you around. And Andrade's like, yeah, about that. I'm just going to see Postman Pierce about my first opponent. Maybe I'll see you soon. So he's going to batter Dom, and people were sharing on Twitter, obviously, the fact that Dom previously was cracking onto Charlotte Flair, or at least saying, oh, I'm the best, you know.
That's like good fortune over anything else from when that segment aired. I don't want to be cruel about this Andrade thing, because I don't think I've had much nice to say about it since the Rumble, but he does feel already like he's just been normalised. From the moment he came out in the Rumble, really, where he was booked within that match, you were told to get excited about, oh, he's back, and he settles to a quite bland match, and he doesn't have any memorable spots in it or anything like that. It's a long time to wait without him wrestling, and he's already feeling a bit like that all-talk guy again. That was the exact problem when he debuted in AEW. Like, here he was out in a suit with not much to say and nobody that exciting to fight. People were putting the screenshot this morning.
Triple H rubbish.
Nah, he's the GOAT, but like I was
He's Booker of the Year.
After Raw this morning, I was on X, and it was honestly one of the things, when you just go to the Raw hashtag, one of the things I was seeing the most was people getting excited about the Andrade Dominic thing, just seeing Andrade ready for his first match. And I'm just not feeling it. And there's loads I feel about this product, and especially like I said at the start, this time of year it's WrestleMania, so you head into it.
Probably caveat everything, but it's still great.
This is still good. And this is the thing, says it is. But like, I used to have to say that when NXT went.
I hate you so much.
When like NXT was just going to complete shit, it was like, is it still good? But I know this is because I think he's finished after WrestleMania. I think all of his programs will peak and then will be on the decline. But Andrade already feels like he's been there 6 months.
What's bloody faith, this one? Oh, it's going to get rubbish after Mania. Oh, after the greatest WrestleMania of all time. I do apologise.
Should have.
I do apologise.
I think it's even better, Hamlet.
Yes, Cody. They're going to free Gunther up. Then it's going to be Cody and Gunther, potentially.
You might be right. I hope you're right.
Free Gunther up.
When have I been wrong? When have I let you down, mate? Come on.
Thing
Punk's
is,
coming back.
Yeah, that
if you look at, like, I'm trying to have a conversation.
Sorry.
If you look at everyone Triple H has brought back, or he's better at debuting from NXT to an extent. So many more misses than hits in terms of a new character or a returning character on WWE television under Triple H's creative. So many more misses than hits. Karrion Kross, miss. Cameron Grimes, where's he?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Naomi's feeling like a miss.
Naomi's.
It feels like they brought Andrade and Naomi in and have no idea what to do with them at WrestleMania. And they only just brought them back in January.
I thought it was only Tony Khan who did that.
Needs to listen to HBK more.
Yeah.
That's how you make stars, baby.
Right.
Ron and Tiffany have done well.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying.
Debut.
Yeah, they're doing all right. Like Dragon Lee's,
It's all right.
it's not good enough. He's amazing, but you never get to see how amazing he is. And Andrade doesn't have the intangibles to be a headliner or a top star. I've seen him for years in the US. Never seen it in the US. He's a banger merchant, and that's fine. They very rarely let you do bangers in WWE. If they did, Dragon Lee would be like more over than he is.
And the banger bar has been raised.
Yes, exactly.
A bit higher than his rate of bangers as well.
Exactly. This is a problem from an AEW as well. Andrade versus Dominic.
I know.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the best out of him.
Yeah, this felt quite uninspiring.
I think it might be over. I think I speak for everyone when I say that WWE is finished.
Disagree. Street fight time. Imperium versus New Day.
I like this.
Yeah, they came out wearing the San Jose Sharks jerseys. Of course, the New Day did. Dives take us to an early break from the New Day.
Dives into a break.
They finally
Catch the best ever Kenny Omega Michael Coleism ever on this one. I was speaking to Imperium in the back earlier on. They were talking about their 2K24 rankings. Where are they, Michael? You and Imperium just chatting about the new game. What's your favourite move in the game? Ludwig Kaiser.
I mean, to be
well,
fair,
Michael Cole.
there was a shot of Pat McAfee chatting to Gunther, so maybe they were all at a loose end. And he's like, would you make a 2K?
What's your ranking? What's yours?
Footballers do this, you know.
What,
Yeah,
like
the
the
FIFA thing.
rankings and stuff?
Footballers are obsessed with their own FIFA rankings. So honestly,
Have you ever seen the Daniel Sturridge one?
in defense of WWE,
It's funny visual, isn't it? Michael Cole catching up with Ludwig
footballers
Kaiser.
are honestly upset. It's such a slight on their ego if they're like, I'm faster than that.
Remind me to show you the Daniel Sturridge Raheem Sterling one after this because it's the
Oh, I bet
perfect-
like in the dressing room with your peers as well. That must,
yeah. Because I've seen one with Dan Byrne, and it's like every single year, it's like, I know I'm not that fast. I know I'm not that fast, but I'm not as slow as people say I
Can you
am.
imagine in the past where like there's like loads of like all-time great players being like, I'm a bit disappointed with those Pro Evo rankings, and Adriano's like, seem pretty good to me. Can't see a problem.
Accurate.
Logan Paul's like third or fourth best person on the game.
Yeah.
No lies detected.
Well, look at in fiction his win-loss record, how quickly he became a champion.
Yeah.
If it was all away, Logan Paul would be.
Be way up there, yeah.
Yeah, of course he would be champion.
So Kaiser, after we come back from break, Kaiser teases grabbing a table and then realises the crowd would be really into that. So he chucks it away, grabs a chair, and they drop kick it into Woods' face. Kingston comes back though, hits both of Imperium with a high cross, body slams Kaiser onto Vinci. Kingston goes to get a table, but Imperium get him back in the ring with a double suplex. Drops Kaiser with a knee strike, does Kofi, but Vinci hits him with a clothesline. And then Woods just gets battered by Vinci with a kendo stick to take us to another break. When we come back, I always love this spot when they lob one of those leather chairs. I think it was Kingston into Kaiser's face, sends Vinci into the steel steps, and they nail Kaiser with the kendo sticks to the New Day. Woods does the whole get the tables thing. Kingston puts Vinci on a table, and Woods hits a preposterous elbow drop off the top to the outside, which gets a great pop, obviously. He's got him. They get him back in the ring. He's got him beat, but Kaiser pulls the referee out at 2. Kingston hits a suicide dive. Vinci, who's bloodied on his back as a result of everything, shoved Kingston off the top, though, through a table that had been set up on the other side of the ring. I think they hit Woods with a baking sheet at this point. And then Kaiser sends him into a steel chair that's been wedged in the corner and grabs a roll-up with the tights. 1, 2, 3, Imperium win the street fight.
I sometimes resent my own exhaustion with plunder matches because it's not fair on the wrestlers who take extra risks than they normally take with weapons.
Luckily for you, though, this one happened in WWE, so it was good.
Big plus, big positive. Atmosphere was just better, hotter. Fans didn't feel like they'd seen it all before. No, not that. I really don't know what across AEW and WWE, I don't know what the rule is. There's just some I like and some I don't. And that, it honestly isn't.
He liked, I'm doing a bit,
like,
man. He loved Cassidy versus Taven.
Yeah.
Did you?
In spite of myself and, limited expectations of Matt Taven, I really did. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's an energy, I think, which is, I suppose, the hardest thing to summon because you can't fake it. The crowd are either going to be into it, the vibe's going to be right.
They're in at tables. There's a
Tables are the cheat code. But this match in particular, I'm not saying it had no right, but they've done brawls in the crowd to set it up, and they've done just hoying weapons at each other already to get to the point where they're just going to hoy more weapons at each other. And yet it felt quite authentic and it felt quite real. I don't know if the New Day are now, they've got that extra sort of veteran thing where they've been around so long, but you still love them. You're not bored of them. You just sort of, I'm glad they're around.
I'm just so glad they're happy.
Yeah, exactly that. I don't know if that contributed to the energy of this or whatever. It was the right result as well to put Imperium over. But I really like this New Day character shift as well. I like watching them in these matches with the intensity. It was a problem, What Culture Clickbait title, the problem that nobody wants to talk about with the New Day is that them not taking anything seriously was really damaging to telling any stories. Look what happened in 2019 when Kofi took something seriously. Like Kofi Mania was a really lovely thing. A lot of the time their stories just had no legs because it was like, oh, well, it's fine. We'll just hide the pancakes out and everything's grand. This is them caring, and it feels like a new version of an old trick.
Yeah.
It was great.
Genuinely, we're in tune on this one because it was the energy that was different. I don't think they had it right, really. I mean, if you're going to set up a table, people are going to be invested. If you're going to put people through tables, people are going to pop. Like, they chant, "We want tables," wrestling crowds, when they have much like cooler, sicker, more violent weapons. It's just a cheat code. But they didn't have the right to go as hard as it did here. And that was the difference. It's like, right, okay, it's WWE Plunder match. Can we use like the really cool, sick weapons you get over there on AEW, like explosions and like just class stuff like that? And it's like, no, it's the Fed. Come on, be realistic. There's nothing really cool we can do here. It's like, right, okay, so we're stuck with tables and kendo sticks. Is it for the most part? Yeah, that's just how we do. Right, okay. What if to elevate these very, very familiar weapons that everyone has seen, even Dr. Fed has developed an immunity to weapons.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Why don't we, here's an idea, I'm just spitballing here, splatter through them face first? It's like, hell yeah. It's ruled. This is really, really good. This is absolutely demented. It's working hard, and then there's like, we kind of know that to stand out here, we might just have to go face first through these tables. And they did. And I loved them for it.
Yeah.
Awesome. It wasn't awesome, but it was really good, really fun.
Like in Gorilla, the 4 of them were just there with Triple H in. Like just one. Hasn't been done for ages. We'll pay the fine. Please, can we do just a really hard chair shot to the head or face? And Triple H's like, no, we don't do that anymore. Meanwhile, Cody gif. Really? Is that so? I'm going to kill the guy tonight.
It's fine. Like, right, you can't, the rule, and like doctors have confirmed this with CTE, the rule is
Proper doctors.
you cannot violently swing a chair onto someone's head. Too dangerous. What you can do, and I've seen this in WWE matches before, is you can suspend, you can wedge a chair in the right angle of the two sets of ropes between the top and middle turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Boom, into it you go. What's the difference? There isn't one.
Or like, do you think, like Cody said to the guy, you know how you make yourself famous now on Twitter, everything's gift, kid. I'm going to launch this, but keep your hands down. Like, we won't get in trouble. It's like when Brett used to hide his blade jobs. Like, it'll look authentic. It's like, look, if you didn't put your hands up, that technically we're like circumnavigating the rules here, but people will share this. You were going to get some fame off getting blasted
He did want
in the
to bring
face.
back chair shots, didn't he?
He did. It was him, wasn't it? Yeah.
We're not suggesting.
He paid the price for it.
We're not earnestly suggesting.
Full of his own blood.
We're not earnestly suggesting.
That was a gimmicked one, wasn't it?
You told me they shaved it down.
I had a bit of a rant about Collision on this because there was like a chair shot in the opener, which ruled, by the way.
Is this Hobbs and Guevara?
Yeah,
I'm already started to watch this.
Yeah, it was better than this. Because the initials alone, obviously. But I said at the time, there's big furore about the one chair shot.
Yeah.
And it's like, the more you do it, then it becomes an issue. And that was the problem all the way back then. Don't, like, for the optics, lose your mind over one chair shot.
Aye.
It's when it insidiously creeps in. That's when you'll have lost your appetite for the discourse. And
Remember
your
Hobbs did it to
clutching.
Kenny in that beatdown?
Aye. Ridiculous.
Did that even really happen? Like, no.
They're still not doing it enough. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm talking utter bollocks. But for me, I'm married to one. So,
Yes.
but for me,
Congratulations.
yeah, I did support her a lot. For me, now is the time when it's getting insidiously normalized because I do it in Blood and Guts all the time.
Yeah.
They started doing it in rando, like no DQ matches on the B show. All those people who complained back at Fyter Fest. Now's the time. Now's the time to make a salient point.
At least, like, Sammy Guevara's got a relatively, like, safe history with chair shots.
I thought you were going to say an empty head.
Matt Hardy does after taking that chair. Remember that? When he launched it on that Dynamite.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just quickly, whilst we're speaking about the New Day, if you're a fan of theirs, maybe worth checking out Ups and Downs today with Simon Miller.
Ooh. And if you're a fan of theirs, this might be an interview with one of their members.
Indeed, yeah. Chatted with Big E last week. Nicest man in wrestling. You can listen to it right now, What Culture Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, or you can check the video on our YouTube channel, of course. Right, Postman Pierce is in the back, chatting to Bronson Reed. Congratulations on his new baby. And Chad Gable walks in and says he wants to be Gunther's opponent, basically. He comes to him as a father. Gunther made his daughter cry. He laughed at her misery, called him a terrible father, and he needs to make this right. His reasons are honest. To anyone else, this match would be about a championship, but to Gable, it just means more.
Great if it was just this. That's the thing, isn't it? Like, all individually, didn't have a problem with any of the challenges, really, but keep going back to it. I don't like what I think we're getting shown here.
Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark aren't happy that Candice and Indy got the title shot just because Indy Hartwell's from Australia, and they tell the tag champs to watch out because we'll show you what we're about to do, and they'll do the same and finally become champions. And we got Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Candice got dropped. Starks worked on the arm. LeRae managed to hit a code breaker in desperation, gets out of there, brings in Indy, who gets a brief bit of offense in, but Baszler makes a blind tag and chokes her out with the Kirifuda clutch.
Not that Shayna and Zoe are heels, particularly, but what a couple of loser baby faces. Like,
Complete losers.
You only got the shot because
bad match.
Indy's from Australia, the match they lost, by the way, on the kickoff, by the way. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh yeah, you were proven completely right. They did, because they have shown like that they haven't deserved it here by getting beaten kayfabe, but the match being quite poor as well. Like, I don't know where you go with Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I don't know where you go with them.
Well, first of all, this match is bad, and they're losers.
Yeah.
Complete and utter losers. But heartbreak alert. I was scrolling through YouTube on the way in today, and I saw a network exclusive or Peacock exclusive or digital exclusive, and they were filmed backstage, and they were saying that they need to get on the same page. So I think we're going to get Indy Hartwell versus Candice LeRae at WrestleMania. Can you imagine?
The way it explodes.
No one knows who the f***ing way are. I can f***ing explode. I can nothing f***ing explode.
Nothing divided by nothing is nothing. So no match. It's maths.
We go to
the army, aren't they?
we go to
NXT wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, later on today, I've got the preview coming. We go to the Judgment Day's clubhouse. R-Truth's in there, and he's approached by The Miz, who's got out of his cupboard. Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels and the Cerebral Assassin Triple H. He reminisces about the Judgment Day's good old days. They say, look, Truth, you're always cheering us up, so why don't we cheer you up and we get some revenge on the Judgment Day? And Ciampa says, speaking of revenge, I've got a plan. Are you ready? And Truth's like, huh? I said, are you ready? And Truth's like, I see, you're trying to regenerate something, right? Regeneration X. And Miz goes correct him and just goes, oh yeah, whatever, it's awesome. They all leave, but not before Truth gets his TV back.
Reacts. It's great. I sensed that there was going to be more on this show. Like, Ciampa's plan, we now have to wait 7 days for. And I'm pretty sure, if you look at what The Miz was wearing in this, pretty sure it's because they just got out of that cupboard. It's like, well, we're going to have to film this one thing and leave it for next week.
Yeah.
Like, it turns up and, like, they're all in their T-shirts and the gear and that, like, Miz is in a full suit. And it's what he's wearing in that video. All right, they've just busted him out. Right, go and do one pre-tape. We'll have to do Ciampa's grand plan next week. Regeneration X. Yes.
I don't have any thoughts on this. I'm getting really hungry.
Well, we're just at the start.
Like a wrestler. Starving.
The third hour, I believe. Drew McIntyre comes out. He's slapping hands. He's loving life. He gets in the ring and says, guys, we did it. He wants to thank everyone who put their hands together and prayed for this. It's happened because of you. It's me versus Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania for the world title. But McIntyre says, look, guys, not feeling good. Feel like crap. I was in the chamber first. I was banged up, feel jet lagged. I also got my eardrum busted in the match, and afterwards the doc told me I may have to miss Mania. And I said, who do you think I am, CM Punk? Nothing's going to stop me missing Mania.
You can see it coming a mile off, and it was still a popper, wasn't it? Like, great this.
McIntyre, with his
Drew shouldn't have been first in that match.
What, like going end to end?
Just Triple H's easiest way to, like, try
I
and
get where you come from.
Things happening for a long time is impressive, is it? I've been reliably informed that 5 minutes is enough.
He took advantage, though, didn't he?
What?
He just, like, Drew, all of his victories were just taking advantage of other people's work. Like,
yes,
all
I get
his
it,
pins
but
were-
you could accomplish that by, like, his whole point is he's been denied every opportunity. He's a workhorse. He came in last, just did it, and reframed that as this big triumph.
Yeah, I thought they were trying to say, like, if he could say, I went end to end in the chamber to get this done and didn't really do anything.
I get it. Maybe I'm being too pedantic.
So McIntyre sits cross-legged in the ring and says, look, Punk, I know it hurts you to miss Mania. Probably killed you to see me in the world title match. But I wanted to do something for you. I know you're straight edge and don't drink. So I drank twice as much on my way home for both of us, which works because he's a heel, of course. Calls out Rollins. Rollins comes out. Calls out Rollins. Rollins comes out. Sing a song.
There's a lot of people I did notice that listen to our podcast that don't maybe watch WWE every week that were complaining that they got the music wrong at Elimination Chamber. Didn't play that when he came out.
Yeah.
Some other effect.
Rollins said McIntyre
Finally got fired for that blunder.
Finally has the opportunity to win the title in front of a capacity crowd at WrestleMania. But Rollins said he was going to stand in his way. McIntyre says, Rollins, you're right. You're on in my way. You're a hard man to beat, as I am. That's why I'm wondering why you're getting involved in the Cody bloodline stuff. I want you 100%. Stop going to SmackDown to fight that battle. Look, if I was champion here, couldn't have cared less what was going on SmackDown. I'd let it burn. I wouldn't pee on it if it was on fire or whatever. He says, look, don't push the bloodline. We all know what's going to happen. We're going to be having a great match at Mania. Bloodline are going to interfere and they're going to bloody tarnish my victory. Back off. And he says, Seth says, respectfully, some risks are worth taking. I thought about everything you said. My knee might not be 100%. My back might give out. And the bloodline, yes, could make it an easy night for McIntyre. Maybe you're right, but maybe you're wrong. Risks are worth taking. I've been selfish in my career and in my life. I thought the goal at the end of the road would fill this void. But every time I got there, I felt empty inside. It wasn't until I had a daughter, he said, that I realized not everything's about me. The world title is bigger than me and you. And so's taking down the bloodline. It doesn't matter if me or you are the champion, because if we don't take down the bloodline, eventually it'll just be a matter of time before they go after the world title as well. We can secure the future of this industry if we rip apart the bloodline. Then it'd just be me against you at WrestleMania. Some risks are worth taking, says Seth.
Hamlet's going to put the sword to the hilt, so I'll let him do it with a bad news, good news thing, and everyone will have a happy memory of the segment. I am so bored and angry about this taking down the bloodline stuff. Put the fucking Roman Reigns character in a fucking cage match and make a cage match an actual cage match. There are benevolent or fair, impartial authority figures. Triple H was like, what are we going to do? That's great. Second title for this. Idiot. Triple H. Moron. We put him in a cage. This idea that they cannot be stopped. Oh my God. They just keep interfering in matches. Oh my. What if there was a stipulation or like a gimmick match or, you know, some kind of dramatic principle that's been used in wrestling for years that they could just simply do to... It's the central... They've been doing this for well over a year. The bloodline needs to be stopped. Like it was Sami and Cody, this greater good. They try to do it at War Games. They try to do it last year's WrestleMania. We need to stop the whole bloodline. Yeah. From running roughshod over 6 episodes of SmackDown a year. This hugely important thing. These 6 episodes of SmackDown that Roman's on a year. It really needs to be stopped. Put him in a cage. I'm being facetious with the delivery and the way I'm approaching this. Am I wrong? Tell me when I'm telling lies. They could have been stopped handily, easily, at least a year ago.
It's shorthand for the belt. Like, getting the belt off Roman.
You can put the belt on the line in a cage match.
Yeah, which they've done, and because WWE can't book cage matches.
Well, they could book cage matches.
This is the thing. Yeah, like, bring back a stipulation that you murdered RIP 20 years ago, unfortunately.
It's flimsy as hell.
I don't know.
It is.
It's a 4-year title reign. That has assumed that's power.
Yeah, but you can have Roman win cleanly a lot.
In kayfabe, I think these characters can earnestly argue that he's been put in every match and every sort of time that people have tried to get the belt off him, that has failed. So they
through the interference that could have been thwarted in a cage match.
Yeah, that's what you can't defend, is where they've just you pointed this out probably a year ago.
Yeah, before anybody else did.
Gaping plot hole.
People on Twitter just rip off my stuff.
In the bloodline, gaping plot hole is that nobody does anything about the interference. And that's only really started to happen now, or at least Roman's been put in less favourable positions than he was getting put in before that. So I don't have a particular problem with it, because as well, I think you're trying to do what you captured last year with with Sami and Kevin and Cody. You're doing that again with Seth Rollins. And I think it's working. And obviously it helps that The Rock is involved in it to elevate all of this. Otherwise, maybe I wouldn't think it was as magic feeling as when Cody put Kevin and Sami back together with the express purpose of stopping the bloodline. And half the job was, again, belts. Half the job was done because you took the belts off the Usos. It was Cody not being able to finish the story and so on. Because otherwise, I thought this was brilliant. Like, Sidge is right. It was going to be a bad news, good news thing. I thought this was everything that Becky and Rhea wasn't.
So 1 a week with this.
Yeah. Drew McIntyre, this character. Oh. We said this before. The reason this character is the best is not just because of how well he performs it and what he can lend to matches, but it's just how other characters and other stories can be elevated by it. So Drew McIntyre telling Seth, like, keep your body in the best physical shape you can. I don't need you risking injury. Drew would love nothing more than Seth getting injured. Drew will probably take out that injured knee with a Claymore or a chop block before WrestleMania. He'll go for the back, he'll go for the knee, whatever. That's who Drew McIntyre is now. Man, I don't want the bloodline coming in and ruining my victory. Not even like sort of daring to suggest that he might lose. A week after he's basically accepted their help to get the match in the first place, all that sort of stuff. This character it's just really tightly booked and the motivations have never strayed. He has that thing with Jey, so like ultimately like what could have been a nothing exchange to set up a match that we've already seen on next week's Raw. But Drew at this point is denying that like Jey coming to Raw was what set him off on this dark path in the first place. And he's just in like complete denial. I was like, everything has worked out great. Like I just told you all along, if you listen to me, everything would be fine in Drew McIntyre's world. I just love watching that play out. And for him now, of all the times, if we are buying this scenario that we're this close to the Bloodline's tyranny finally being over, something that Drew himself campaigned for, we're this close to it, and Drew's like, yeah, forget about all of that. Like, I need you fresh for the title. I just love that so much. This match feels big. I want the title change. Drew is talking and wrestling and acting like a guy that is ready to be like the top guy on SmackDown, and it'll be a really different flavour having a top heel who's there all the time. Like, let's see this character in that slot. And Seth is just, he's not really very wacky or fun or silly anymore, but because the story feels big and people do care about the bloodline being stopped, he feels relevant. It's not just wacky costumes. Like the belt, all of this felt big time, I thought.
I'm going to be fair before we quickly move on, right? Wrestling's just flawed and it's crap. It just is. Like, way back when they used to do this, in the cage match, all right, this baddie keeps cheating. Oh, cage match. And there's no interference. Mano-y-mano. The good, virtuous, stronger guy will win. But it always take them a few too many months to realise, we could just do the cage match again. That worked. Yeah. It was like gangbusters last time. We should have thought that 4 months ago before this tyranny from the latest heel and all the rest.
Also, like the escape thing was because Sammartino had left them for dead, and it was like, what an honourable guy. And then when like in the 90s, it was like the babyface is running away. What? They never told that story. With
but it's been general, like the idea of it has to loop. The same governing body or authority figure or whatever has to make the same errors for drama to happen and all the rest of it. It's like, should just do a cage match night one, if anything. In fact, they should all be in cages. Every match should be in cage. You know what I mean? They've taken the piss with how long the bloodline thing's going on. You have to do this kind of thing for a bit. You have to have your baby faces have friends until they can't really have friends because you need to do a heat angle. It's all crap. We watch crap every day. But they've taken the piss for this by at least a calendar year. Especially when they know, right, they need to be stopped. How could we stop this? It's gone too far now. It's gone too far and it must be stopped, Cage. Easy.
Like those moments as a parent when you know full well you're not going to deliver on like a threat because you're like, if you don't do this, we're not going to do this. But those tickets cost me a lot of money, so we're definitely doing that thing.
And I'm not stuck in the house. Like it's probably too late to cancel the Crazy Golf, and I want to do it as well.
We're taking it too far. Please don't take it any further because I don't want to cancel Crazy Golf.
And I'm never going to do that.
We follow that with Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan.
Is it a windmill one? The one I went to. An old-fashioned windmill.
Is it the one in the North Shields one?
No.
That's
Centre Town.
Okay. I know the one you mean.
Jax early on hits her with a Samoan drop, gets her in that stretch muffler, and then just slams her face first into the middle turnbuckle. Jax goes for the leg drop on the apron. Morgan dodges it, and we get my whole flashbacks. After a break, Jax is still in control, but Morgan avoids a senton, hits a missile drop kick and a code breaker. Then They're fighting on the outside eventually, though, and then Becky Lynch appears and attacks Nia Jax for the DQ for what she did to her earlier. She slams her face repeatedly into the announce table. Jax manages to get away. The referees hold her back. And Liv Morgan's not looking happy after this. I'll just skip to the next bit because Lynch in the back tells Pierce she wants a match against Nia Jax. And Pierce makes it official for next week before Liv Morgan comes in and says, I was in the middle of a match there, but you don't care. Not everything's about you. I like that.
Good booking this. Stans don't get wrestling. They have their favourite wrestlers and...
Don't clip this.
Yeah, but, they don't. And I saw a lot of people... lot of Liv Morgan stans that were angry that she didn't win. And I would get that in old world WWE, but the way that match ended, you could tell there was more to come with Liv Morgan. Like, she beats Bianca Belair and then turns into Becky Lynch's finisher. Those stans or the people that think, Liv deserves more or whatever, should understand that after maybe 6 months, you could argue, they never followed up on that, or they never picked up this detail. Fine. Then you can have that argument. Right now, she is in a potentially in a quite a good spot. And I think this was proof of that because they've been able to use that finish and how close she came to building on this story that I was sort of taking the piss out of it a couple of weeks ago. Liv Morgan's got this headcanon, I'm on this big revenge mission, I'm going to do this and this and this. Now I'm buying it a bit because there she was wrestling for that revenge mission in Elimination Chamber, not quite succeeding, and having this bitterness towards Becky Lynch that's manifesting a totally...
has been that in the past, has been the bridesmaid, never the bride previously.
This thing where it all starts with Rhea Ripley, which is what she's got to get back to, and she's the one with the belt, so she's going to be looking at Becky thinking, she's getting that WrestleMania match, and I needed that for my vindication. And they've quite organically arrived at it through this Nia Jax match because Nia Jax got this involvement with both of them. Also, I think Triple H has dug into a story of one of his best mates here because this Liv Morgan's line delivery reminded me of that Kevin Nash story of when Bret and Undertaker are fighting in a cage match. And Bret's worried that nobody cares about his title reign. He's just been set up to lose to Shawn Michaels. And he's having a bit of a moan backstage. And damn, man. Like, Nash is there. Bret's like, I'm just going to beat you in a cage match. And Nash is like, yeah, but I need to get this in as well. I'm fighting the Undertaker at WrestleMania. I need this spot and this. Having a bit of back and forth. And Nash tells it like, damn, I'm just sitting there quietly. The old tape in your fist sort of thing. And he's like, motherfucker, not everything's about you. And it was like this sort of vindication there. Yeah, Bret, shut up. That man's talking. I'm not talking about a stand-up show. And that's what this made me think of. I bet you Triple H bloody loves that story.
I bet he loves that.
I bet they bloody love it. All sitting together having a big laugh at Bret. God's going to strike you down, Hunter.
Kathy Kelly interviews Grayson bloody Waller and Austin Theory. Waller's not happy that Rhodes disrespected him in his home. He attacked his boy Theory, and Waller did everything he could to stop it. Austin Theory's face was a picture when he said that. And tonight he's going to disrespect Rhodes in his house, and the Bloodline's going to pick the bones. And you see Heyman briefly in the background here. Then we got that was where the Morgan Lynch thing happened.
Sucked, didn't he?
Jackie Redmond interviews Jey Uso, and Redmond says, how are you going to rebound after losing last week? Jey says, look, I'm going to keep being myself, keep being main event Jey Uso. I was this close to becoming an IC champion. Every time I come close to something, I come up short. Every time I'm trying to win a title or do something positive, bring myself up, I come up short due to a past enemy on Raw or my own family. And Drew approaches and he simply says, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, you deserve this. And then they get into a brawl and there's a match next week.
Nice stuff.
Main event time. Cody Rhodes versus Grayson Waller. It's kind of all more about what happened after this, of course. Delayed vertical suplex from Cody. Sends Waller into the ring. And we're informed Paul Heyman's backstage. He's coming. Basically, we go to a break. We come back. Waller's in control. He hit a rolling flatliner during the break, but Rhodes fights back with a power slam and a disaster kick. Theory's there. He hits the apron. Rhodes turns his back, and that allows Waller to take advantage. But in the end, Cody takes out Theory with a suicide dive. Waller tries to sneak attack Cody, but Cody fights him off. Cody cut across Rhodes 1, 2, 3.
Loved it, man. I love a baby. Loved a baby face on a run like this. I want to see Cody Rhodes wrestle once a week against a heel. He's definitely going to overcome minuscule odds because he's overcome far bigger ones than a 2-on-1 advantage of these losers.
So you don't want any stakes?
Cody's in that zone. I love him.
You know what I liked about this? The only thing I liked about this, which I'm going to kind of bury later, is the tie looked great.
Yeah.
That's like that. I just thought it looked fantastic. I thought it'd be way higher on the attire.
I don't know. I'm
So you thinking it?
It is normally, but I'm kind of too invested in the magic of a wrestler. Never thought it could happen again. Never thought I'd see the day.
So Paul Heyman appears on the stage. He's got 3 men in suits behind him. Rhodes immediately grabs a steel chair and a microphone. Heyman goes to do his introduction, but Rhodes cuts him off and says, look, if this is a bloodline setup, come and get me, basically. And Heyman's like, hey, the only member of the bloodline that's here is me. No one else is. And these gentlemen behind me are my friends from the NYPD. They're off-duty officers, actually. They're more suspended officers, but anyway.
The hell are you talking about, Paul? Yeah. And I had a nightmare here, son.
Police officers suspended for kicking too much ass.
Yes.
God damn it, this was lame. Not even the lamest bit about this segment.
He said, I get how insulting it must be to be Will Smithed across the face, but you need to take The Rock's name out of your freaking mouth.
Topical, so...
Heyman could forgive Rhodes for taking away The Rock versus Roman Reigns. The Rock can't, though. And Roman Reigns has authorized Mr. Heyman to tell Rhodes that he can withdraw his challenge against The Rock, or else. Cody says, or else what, Mr. Heyman? Cody says, look, you may have noticed I haven't really gone after The Rock. I haven't rained holy terror on this mic yet, because just like everyone else, I was a fan of The Rock. How could you not be? You can put yourself in my shoes. Every meal is determined by tickets sold, and every ticket sold by The Rock. I'm done being nice, though. If this is a setup, let's go. Heyman's got a better idea.
Let's go.
Heyman's got a better idea. The cops jump up on the apron. They're doing the
suspended caps.
They're doing the all 4 corners. Cop. Heyman. On each side. Heyman says, oh, I'm all right to enter the ring. And Cody says, no, which I quite like. There's a bit of difference maker. The cops do enter the ring, though. And Cody stands there, realizes what's going on. Cody says, look, I want to make something clear. If anyone takes another step, I'm kicking this motherfucker straight out the window, okay? No, he says, if one more person takes a step towards me, I'm dropping everyone standing in this ring. And Heyman says, all right, but, that threat obviously doesn't apply to me. And Heyman goes to go in, and Cody goes, wrong, and just grabs his chair, twats all of the cops with it.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Good. It's good. Our truth could come up with that one. I like that. You got any T-shirts out?
He threw a chair directly into one of their faces. He hit a crossroads. And
drilled him at a crossroads. Yeah. I made a famous kid.
And Heyman steps out of the ring, gets his phone, and says, call Roman Reigns. And you're like, okay. And then he gets out a second phone and says, it's got the Brahma
It's got the frigging Brahma bull on the back. Wait a minute, is this my Rock phone?
He goes, call The Rock. And then he's got them both there going, it's not going to plan, guys.
Well, the idea that they just don't give a toss about Raw and would never watch it.
And Cody says, yeah, call them both. The bloodline isn't hunting me.
I'm hardcore.
The bloodline isn't hunting me. I'm hunting the bloodline.
This was honestly, and I know I'm like a bit lower than consensus on this resurgent WWE of 2020. This is
Yes, Cody was great, and this was still
great.
I loved that beatdown on them cops.
Yeah,
but this was so thick. This was like Paul Heyman with them free. Call The Rock on his Rock phone. He was like, wait a minute, is he calling The Rock? Like, it's just as bad as the Bloodline one he did.
It's so good.
They ever on NXT. Bloodline.
Like, honestly, this deserves more pelters.
Is it supposed to be funny that, like, they're so massive and grandiose that they won't even join a conference call? Am I being too generous there? That, like if you want to speak to The Rock...
I just think you're stupid. So you have to be told that there's a Rock phone and a Roman phone, but he wants to speak to both of them.
Ridiculous.
Maybe the only way you can contact him is through that phone. Like, all the other numbers are blocked.
Like Batman's red phone.
So the idea that Paul Heyman sourced a couple of road cops who are willing to appear on... Not going to get their jobs back then, are they?
Nah.
So they're silly.
You watching USA? Yeah, turnover. Quick, turnover.
This was absolutely stupid. It was lame. It was one of the daftest things I've seen connected with this Bloodline saga that's apparently so loaded. Paul Heyman, I feel like this is weird, right? You'll never find anyone like who's less lost for words, if that makes any sense, than Paul Heyman. He's talk, and Carney and sell you. There's at least 3 moments here I was like, what are you talking about? And he didn't even, he just lost the thread.
Yeah.
When he's talking about like the last time we were in the ring, I cried, and that's another story for another day. It's like, what are you talking about, Mr.
I don't want an apology,
Heyman?
but I want you to stop talking about this and rescind your offer.
He was talking a load of complete bollocks, stepping on his own dick at every juncture. I was kind of embarrassed for him, but he's got no shame, so there's no point in being embarrassed for someone like Paul Heyman.
Thinking of him somehow acquiring these off-duty suspended police officers, I was lost
so
in thought
stupid.
about how dumb that was.
It's really, it's like, do you go 2-footed on Paul Heyman for like being lost for words for once in his goddamn life? It's like saying, oh, Messi didn't get an assist in this match. More like Lionel Pesci. You know what I mean? It's just like, if anyone's earned, and I don't even think Paul Heyman, it's something about style, I don't like it. Like, I don't even think Paul Heyman's is as good as a lot of people do. But one thing you cannot deny is that he's, for what he does every single night, he's nailed on.
He deserves the odd mulligan.
Has he ever? I don't think I've ever heard him flub a line. Ever.
Aye, nothing's
I don't think I've ever heard him do a bodge.
Because as you say, he'll sort of talk through it like, oh, that's what he was meaning to say.
Yeah, he's
What
a genius.
smart orator.
Yeah. He had a night. This is the first time he's had a nightmare that I can ever recall. It was just shocking to me how bad he was. But I'm not burying him for it.
Two words Matt freaking Hardy gave Edge the
Oh, so fast, isn't it?
This was just really silly and lightweight.
And crap.
Like they build up the Rock on SmackDown. They got a video package of him in his gear, and then it's like, I got some fake cops for Cody to beat up. Did you have like some actual wrestlers and one of them missed a flight or something?
They were locked in that room with me.
Yeah, I don't, it's just weird and rubbish.
Weird and rubbish.
But all people remember is Cody launching that chair.
Yeah.
That guy. That is all people remember from this.
Well, let us know your thoughts on Monday Night Raw in the comments section below, or on X at What Culture WWE. Watch there. You can follow all 3 of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at What Culture WWE. Follow our brilliant producer at It's Adam Nicholas. And make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Me and the Dadleys. I'm one of the Dadleys as well. We'll be back later on today to preview NXT. But for now, this has been the Raw Review. My thanks to Hamflett Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you soon.